Hello everyone and welcome to Planet Linux. I'm glad that you found this video as today we're taking a look at Pop! OS. This is a custom Linux distribution created by yours truly at System76. If you don't know what System76 is, they're a company that creates custom computers, both laptop and desktop, typically with Ubuntu installed by default on them. They've decided they want to change things up a little bit and create their own distribution. They're calling it an operating system as opposed to distribution, to put on their own hardware. And it has some very good things about it. There are also a few downsides. And I'd like to start by taking a look at their official description on the website. They say it's beautiful, modern, and powerful. Pop! OS, that is how it's notated, so that could be tricky to type in on Google. Pop! OS is designed for people who use their computer to create, whether it's complicated professional-grade software and products, sophisticated 3D models, computer science in academia, or makers working on their latest invention. The Pop user interface stays out of the way while offering extensive customization to perfect your workflow. Built on Ubuntu, you have access to vast repositories of open source software and development tools. I would like to note that this isn't actually officially going to be released until October 19th of 2017, but this is an alpha version that is available, and I have yet to find any bugs with it, so it appears to be very stable at this point. Now this little description of theirs highlights some positives to Pop! OS. However, it also mentions a couple things that turn out to not be so good about it, and we'll get into those in more detail in a moment. First, for the positives, this is based on Ubuntu 17.04. At least I think that's a positive for most people. It means it's pretty secure, stable, and it has a good base that it's working off of. That also means that the software is, of course, the GNOME software application. And it also uses Ubuntu's software updater. So that will be very familiar to anyone who's used Ubuntu before, which is probably most of us. This also leads into one of the positive aspects of Pop! OS, and this is something that was highlighted by System76. The fact that because it's their own distribution, previously they had always shipped Ubuntu on their devices that they've produced. Because this is their own distribution, they're able to create and maintain and therefore roll out their own updates and fixes for hardware and software on their own schedule, specifically for their own computers. So whereas previously they would have to wait for Canonical to release updates through Ubuntu sources, now if there's something that needs to be fixed or updated with System76's hardware or software, that can be done directly through System76 on their own schedule. This means whenever issues do arise, it's likely you'll get a fix for them much more quickly now. And that's really one of the highlights that they're pointing out with having their own distribution as opposed to just relying on Ubuntu. The biggest issue I have with Pop! OS is, as a standalone distribution, it does very little to stand out. You'll notice the theming here, and I will give them credit. The theming is very nice. This is, I believe, a custom Pop! Theme, as they're calling it here. And it looks very good. The GTK theming, the shell theme, icons, and there's a dark variant of this as well. It takes a lot of hints from a sort of Google material design aspect, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's definitely a flatter looking theme, but it looks very polished, so that is nice. This certainly looks like a very good desktop, especially if you're a fan of GNOME. And it's a shame that this theme isn't available outside of this distribution. Hopefully System76 will make it available, or someone will create a standalone project, because it's a very nice theme I would love to use in other distributions. The reason I would not stick with Pop! OS itself is just because it's very vanilla outside of any benefits it has regarding updates and fixes with System76 hardware. Looking at the default apps, you notice it's pretty standard. We have a few games sprinkled throughout here. Some of them come in Ubuntu, some don't, but they're pretty standard games. Everything else is exactly that, standard. We've got our calculators, calendar, files, Firefox for the web browser, the LibreOffice suite. We have GNOME Maps. That may not be included in Ubuntu, so that's a nice touch. GNOME Music for the music player, as well as Rhythmbox, actually. The GNOME Photos application, Simple Scan. I've installed Simple Screen Recorder. Of course, software and update managers, the dconf editor. Under utilities, having standard, typical utilities you'd see, like the archive manager, backups, disks, um, text editor, the tweak tool, the system monitor, image viewer, GNOME videos and weather. They're all just very standard apps for being an operating system that is supposedly for creators, people that want to build and create, design things. It doesn't seem that there has been very much done in providing an app selection for that. And it may be figured that you can easily go out and find the applications you need, but with what is here, this just feels like a very stock experience, and separate from the theming, albeit very good looking theming, but separate from that theming and the branding, this is essentially Ubuntu with the GNOME desktop. At least regarding the applications that are installed. And you'll notice the rest of the interface has very little to it. There aren't any extensions or additional extensions installed. It's just the standard activities, clock and status, menus over here. It's all very standard GNOME, very standard Ubuntu. And so I guess that takes me to my final point as to whether I would recommend this distribution, whether I think Pop! OS is something that you should use on a daily basis, or at least give a try. And I think there's two sides to this coin here. I think if you are someone that uses System76 hardware, or you're looking to purchase one of their computers, I think this is a fantastic distribution. I think it is definitely a good idea for them to put it on their systems. It's a solid experience, it works very well, and the fact that it's their own custom operating system means they can get updates out to it a lot faster, and they can pertain specifically to their computers, their hardware. So, if you're getting a System76 computer or have one, I would embrace this. I think it's great. That being said, if you're looking at this as a standalone distribution, separate from any System76 hardware, I don't think that the distribution offers enough to make it worthwhile. Keep in mind, one of the biggest points was their the fact that it's their own updates they're able to put for their hardware to make sure things get fixed more quickly. And yes, in theory, this could also mean that updates for general hardware also get released more quickly. But that alone doesn't seem like enough to make Pop! OS worth using, considering that the rest of the experience, other than the theming, which, like I said, is still very good, where other than the theming, there's just not much else here that you wouldn't find in Ubuntu, or Ubuntu GNOME, which is soon to just be Ubuntu as of 17.10, because, of course, Ubuntu switching to the GNOME desktop. So, yes, if you have or are looking to get a computer by System76, this is a great distribution. I think they should definitely put it on their computers. It's very usable, it's very good. Otherwise, as a standalone distro you're just looking to try out on your own system, I would give this a pass, at least at this point. It's just too vanilla, it's too standard. There's nothing truly different that makes this really stand out as a worthwhile distribution to use. I hope that this video has been helpful and informative for you. If it has been, and if you've enjoyed it, please leave a like. If there's anything you'd like to say, let me know. Post it in the comments section. I'll do my best to reply to you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me and it makes sure you stay up to date with the latest content that I post. I will see you all next time.